Hello everyone. This is a playthrough of Leon A on hardcore, no damage in Resident Evil 2 Remake. We will be getting an S+ rank, and I will be using saves. And as a quick word of warning, this is going to have some more cuts in it than the Claire guide that I did, because my recording did some fucky shit and I had to stitch this together a little bit differently. But I tried to make it as non-jarring as possible. I have not played Leon as much as Claire thus far. Excuse me. So my route is a little more shaky. And this is not as practiced. I also believe, in my personal opinion, that Leon is harder than Claire to no damage. So bear with me on that. We're gonna start off by running down the hall here, grabbing the key off the wall, and then waiting until this zombie touches the opposite wall to run on by. Use the key on the door, play out the gas station as usual. I will be using 3 saves in this run, whereas I only used 2 in Claire's, because unlike the Claire A that I did, I have yet to actually no save, no damage this, even off recording, whereas I had with Claire. I'm working on it right now. But like I said, Leon is just much more difficult, and I wanted to get this video up, so I decided to start off with a playthrough where I skipped cutscenes again and used saves again, and work on the other one just like with Claire's in the future. I came up with 2 routes for this, and one ignores the magnum, and one gets the magnum. We're going to be getting the magnum. It's a longer route that's going to take a lot more time, but it's just so much safer, and it's the one I'm going to be using for no save, no damage, because I haven't exactly figured out how I'm going to no save, no damage without the magnum yet, as just the shotgun can be a real pain for the end of the game. But we're coming up on the R.P.D. here. We're going to actually start getting into stuff. Nothing too technical going on yet. We just ran to the R.P.D. Take the path that I take. You shouldn't get bit by any zombies. Apologies for me still being sick at the time of recording this audio, like the last few that I've done. We're going to run up to this door here, and then turn around and get behind this desk. This will cause the zombie to pop through the door quickly, and then we're going to sit behind the desk until he tries to lurch forward over it, and then we're going to run around him. That way he'll be trapped in that room later. Then we're going to stick to the right side of this cabinet up ahead here to slip past these 2 zombies. Wait till we get close to the wall, then swerve left in order to avoid them.
Does anyone know what started this?
Go ahead and go use the knife here to get rid of this tape, and open the shutter.
This is not how I imagined my first day.
We're gonna, grab some handgun rounds on that couch there. We're gonna need to collect as many handgun rounds as possible for the first boss. I'm gonna knock this body down early so it doesn't get in our way later, but you can avoid it by sticking to the right. If you press your body against kind of like the door and the wall to make things faster. Almost forgot to grab these handgun rounds here. Don't forget those handgun rounds. Like I said, we need as many handgun rounds as we can get. If we turn around right after dropping through this window, there are more handgun rounds on this body. And then we're going to kill this zombie who's banging on the vending machine. I guess he wants some beef jerky. Okay, so now we're gonna grab these boards here, pop into the save room. I'm gonna grab the blue gunpowder from this locker, and then we're gonna visit the box, and I'm gonna drop off the key that I chose not to discard, just to save time, inventory managing, and the knife, because we need an extra inventory slot. We're gonna use the boards on that window to prevent that zombie from coming in, and then there is more handgun rounds on this police officer here, and then we're gonna kill this zombie. Now don't fuck up like I did and miss a bunch of shots. I remember fucking this up quite hard. I missed 2 shots so far, 3 shots so far, and wasted a lot of time killing him. I'll take this moment to explain that you'll be seeing me go up and down the stairs while aiming my gun for a very brief period, like I'm about to do in a second. This is called stair skating, and it's because when lowering the weapon, Leon and Claire, if they are sprinting on stairs, will gain a slight speed boost, which makes you go up and down stairs just a little bit faster. So we're going to run up the stairs and grab the handgun rounds on that box there, and then we're going to go get the spade key, and then turn around and go back downstairs. We're going into the west office next. So there is a blue gunpowder on the table here, and we're going to mix it with the previous blue gunpowder we got in order to make more handgun rounds. There's then more handgun rounds in that locker right there. Then we're going to come into this safe, and we're going to type in the combination 9, 15, 7 to open it up and get a side pack, which is going to give us an additional 2 inventory slots. Very crucial for this pathing that we're about to take. Next, we're going to come around to this desk, and we need to open it up using the code NED on the left side and MRG on the right. This is the initials of all the different officers, which can be found on their respective name tags on all their desks if you want to solve the puzzle normally. We get an extended mag from that, which ups the Matilda's capacity, to 24 rounds. We're going to combine that with Matilda, and then use the spade key to get out, and then head up to the east side, 2nd floor. Now, you can skip this part. You don't really need the muzzle brake for the Matilda. If you want it, the code is 6211. This is just basically a little bit of extra time for not a huge reward. If you're trying to save on time, you might as well skip it. The muzzle brake basically just makes it so that the Matilda has slightly less muzzle rise and remains a little bit more accurate, but we actually really don't need that. I just grabbed it because I could. The weapons key card is something we definitely need, so you want to run in this room and grab that. We need the shotgun as soon as possible with Leon.
Marvin, I've got a situation here. I'm surrounded by zombies. Marvin, do you copy? Marvin! Damn it.
Go ahead and use the bolt cutters to cut this chain. Head on inside, cut the next chain. In this next office up ahead, we're going to have to grab items in a very specific order very quickly in order to beat a zombie in this room. So there's a flash grenade on this table. There's a box of handgun rounds on this police officer zombie's body. There's a valve in the office room here that's a key item, and then a yellow gunpowder behind it. Then a fuse on the corner of this desk. If we grab all of that, then run to the door, unblock it, and pop this fuse in here, we should be able to get out with exactly the amount of inventory that we need and without getting clipped by that zombie in the east office. We're going to take a little bit of a detour to the box here, and we're going to drop off 1 stack of handgun rounds. Doesn't matter how many. I happen to only have 1, but 1 stack of handgun rounds, and then half of your other stack. So you should have about 30 handgun rounds on you. You don't even really need that much, but that's just how I equate this out. Next, we're going to come back to the west hallway, and there's going to be some zombies in here. So there's 1 zombie coming up around this corner. You're going to need to pop him in the kneecap. I actually missed a shot. Don't do that. And then there's another zombie down here that can be in one of 3 places. Basically, you just got to be on the lookout for him. He might be right in front of you, or he might be around this corner. If he's around the corner, you got to be real careful when you're going around the corner to scout where he is, and then pop him in the kneecap as well. Get stuns on the zombies, and once you've stunned them, run around them. Walk in here, grab the electronic device, and another flash grenade. Leon needs as many frag and flash grenades as he can get. We're going to run in the weapons locker room and type in 109 on this keypad to unlock this storage terminal, which is going to give us another box of handgun rounds. And then we're going to use the weapons key card to get the shotgun. Very important item for Leon. We're just going to reload it while running down the hallway, and we're going to get this zombie that just reanimated outside whenever you use the keycard. We're going to try to get him to come in this room as fast as possible. He chose to be a dick and take a little bit longer to bust down the door than normal. But regardless, we're going to get him to come inside the room by standing near the door. Then we're going to pop him in one of his legs repeatedly using focus shots until that leg comes off. Focus shots are when you let the reticle focus in, like it closes in, and shots become more accurate and do about 35% more damage. We also blew that zombie's leg off so that he won't be able to come out of that room, because crawling zombies can't go through doors. This police officer zombie from earlier has reanimated, and she'll come over the stair railing if you wait long enough. We're going to wait until she comes over, and then we're going to pop her at close range with the shotgun to decapitate her. The shotgun will decapitate with 1 shot if you're at close enough range. It requires you to be very, very close, though, almost in grab range without a shotgun upgrade. We're going to walk to these 2 lockers. The first one needs a combination to open. The combination is C-A-P, or CAP, as in Capcom. And then the other locker, both lockers contain shotgun shells. We're going to grab those, use the valve, run down here. There's a locker with blue gunpowder in it. And more shotgun shells on this couch. Now, there is a licker in this hall, but we can just run because he's going to be busy doing this cinematic eating of the body. So while he's doing that, we can just run right into the STAR's office. More shotgun shells on that table. Another flash grenade. We can combine the gunpowders that we got earlier to make even more shotgun shells and combine those to free up space. There's another yellow gunpowder, over here by Rebecca's desk. And you can combine this battery in Albert's little office here with the electronic device to make the detonator. Next, we're going to walk down the hall to the left. We're walking specifically so the liquor from earlier does not aggro this time on us, since it will now. And we're going to take the shortcut door right here back to the library. We're going to be getting the unicorn medal. The combination for the unicorn medal is fish, scorpion, urn, which I believe is supposed to be Pisces, Scorpius, Aquarius. There's another blue gunpowder on this table behind us, and we're going to fuse that and the yellow from earlier to make even more shotgun shells. Now, as for this female zombie, we want to blow her head off with the shotgun, but like I said, you need to be at very close range to get a decap, so it's risky. So what I like to do is stun a zombie first, and then run up while they're stunned and blow their head off. I was kind of waiting for her to get away from this fat zombie. I missed the decap here, but it's fine. I wanted her to get away from this fat zombie so he didn't wake up while I was killing her with the stun. That way I could get a free stun on him while he was getting up, and same with the zombie that's eating ass. Unfortunately for Anal Angus, we are going to be killing him this run. Then we're going to run over to this bookshelf here, and we're going to move it once to the left, and then we're going to move these 2 bookshelves once to the right. Behind, or I should say underneath these bookshelves, is another box of handgun rounds. Then we're going to take the ladder up to the attic. There's another box of handgun rounds coming up on this cabinet here. And then we're going to use the detonator on the C4 on the wall. And while that is priming and about to go off, we're going to walk over to the zombie in the ceiling who falls down a little bit, and we're going to pop him with the shotgun to decapitate him so that he doesn't reanimate later and cause us problems. We're also going to run outside that door back there to make sure that that bookshelf near the door does not fall over so we don't have to pick it up and waste time. Then we're going to get the lady medallion. The combination for the lady medallion is lady, bow, snake. The pieces are kind of burnt, so it can be hard to see, but you'll get it. We're going to grab the medallion, and then we're going to run to the right here, specifically to the right, like that, so that when the liquor drops down, we can completely make him whiff, and we'll avoid him. Then we're going to climb back down this ladder, and there is a knife on this zombie officer's corpse. There is also this red book, which we will definitely need, so pick up the red book. We're going to need that for later. We're then going to pick up another box of handgun rounds down the hall to the right, coming out of that door. Then head back down the hall, discard the spade key, which is now all set and done with. And then we're going to get the lion medallion last. The combination for the lion medallion is lion, herb, bird. Then we're just going to head on down and put them in the statue, and that's R.P.D. 1. We're all set to go to the first boss. So most of the strats that I'm going to be showing here are 100% consistent, but Leon is definitely a lot trickier than Claire, so just bear that in mind. I'll mention where things lose consistency or are a little bit more difficult to do. Coming up here, there's some shotgun shells to the left, and then we're going to drop everything in the box except for that knife we just picked up, and our handgun and rounds, and we're going to take the rest of the rounds we put away out of the box. We want our handgun, a knife, and all of our handgun rounds for the first boss. We bring the knife specifically in case the boss manages to grab you, that way you can get out without taking damage. So you should have around 100 handgun rounds to kill G1. If you're feeling a little bit low on handgun rounds, I recommend grabbing one of 3 boxes that is located in the boss arena, which I will be showing after the boss fight where to get them. And I'll explain how to get them safely in a second. So G1 starts in this phase where Birkin is kind of talking about Sherry and help me and blah blah, and then he transforms and his eye comes out. He gets much faster when his eye is out, and it makes it much riskier to grab those handgun rounds that I mentioned earlier, because they are all located in dead ends, and he will catch up to you. So if you need the extra handgun rounds, either run and get them right at the start of the fight, before he transforms, or if he manages to transform back during the fight. As for the fight itself, we're just going to unload on him whenever we get an opportunity. If you're feeling like you don't need the rounds, you can especially unload on him during the first part of the fight like I did. You don't need to use focus shots, because even though they will do more damage, we're trying to get this done as fast as possible, just to A, save time, and B, eliminate risk of being hit. So even though it's going to take more rounds, because we're not using focus shots, we're going to get it done a lot faster. And trust me, you want to get it done a lot faster. This arena is kind of like a figure 8, and we're just going to run him around in circles and be very careful to not let him get too close to us, and just spray him when we can. If you're feeling like he's getting too close, because he will catch up to you and stay right on your ass sometimes, all you have to do, and you'll see me do it multiple times during this fight, is kind of turn your camera to the right or the left, whichever direction you're going to be turning, and just tap the aim button very quickly to make Leon, see, like I just did right there, make Leon stop for just long enough to make Birkin attempt to either grab you or swing the pipe. But you won't stop for so long that he'll actually manage to hit you or grab you. Or at least shouldn't. So we're just going to keep unloading on him. You can aim at his eyeball to do slightly more damage, but honestly, if you're feeling like you're going to miss, because missing is far worse, just aim center mass. The damage difference between the eye and the body isn't so great that you need to land only eye shots. Just be careful, spray at him, and keep in mind everything I said. and you should get this boss no problem, just like that. I did cut it a little bit close on handgun rounds here, but it's fine. So like I mentioned, there are some dead ends here. One dead end here that leads to a box of handgun rounds. Another dead end over here that has some handgun rounds that you can run to. And this one also has a frag grenade, which we want to make sure to pick up. Leon, like I said earlier, needs those grenades. And there's also another frag grenade here. I'm sorry, not frag grenade. Box of handgun bullets. I was looking at my fucking recording. And then was just looping frag grenade. But, not frag grenade. Box of handgun rounds. In this locker at the top of the ladder to the right, there is a blue gunpowder. And we're going to need that. I guess I'll mention during this brief period of nothing happening, what I was talking about earlier. This is a no damage run, not a no hit run. So if you get grabbed by an enemy and then you use a defense item like a knife, frag, flashbang to get out, you do not take any damage from it, and the enemy doesn't even take any damage from the item, or at least knives. I think they take damage from frags, but knives and flashbangs. So it does not count as damage if you get grabbed and then use a defense item to get out. Coming up here, we want to drop everything off except for the handgun, our handgun rounds, and that gunpowder that we picked up out of the locker, since we're going to be combining it anyway. We're going to also pick up, or take out, I should say, the shotgun, just the shotgun with the shells it has in it. We're not going to grab any extra shells, and bring that with us. We're going to decapitate this body on the floor because he will reanimate later. And while it is possible to get around him using the strategy we're going to be using, it is risky because I've had him avoid stun before and hit me. So we're just going to decapitate him to completely avoid any kind of RNG or risk by just taking him out of the equation, so to speak. We're going to run up here and get the key item crank that Leon needs to progress. And then head on back towards the parking garage. We're going to pick up some shotgun shells here in the firing range, which is the reason why we're stopping in here first. Make sure to come in here and grab these shotgun shells. We're going to be ignoring the metal box there because we're not getting the gun stock for the Matilda. It's not that it's not useful, but it makes the Matilda take 2 slots, and we just don't really need the Matilda that much in this run at all. And we definitely don't want it taking 2 slots. So we're going to run in here, into the kennels, and there is a yellow gunpowder in this little crate here. We're going to mix that with the blue from earlier to make more shotgun shells. Then we're going to walk over to these dogs in the kennels, and we're going to use focus shots to do as much damage as possible to just eliminate them. We need to get rid of them so they're not a threat later, because this is a big choke point for the run, the parking garage that is, because of dogs specifically. It's very easy for them to bite you and fuck up your run. We're going to be stopping into the morgue real quick, and we're going to go to the end of this first line of racks and pull out this one just far enough to be able to grab a flash grenade. Because, like I said, Leon absolutely needs them, so we're going to make a little bit of a pit stop to grab one. Now, for some reason, I started to go this way instead of realizing that I need to actually head to where I used the crank, like an idiot. We're going to use the crank here. We're going to walk in this room, and there's a cube conductor box here. Pick up the orange box. Walk over to the shelf over to the right. There's a blue gunpowder. Then we're going to come down this way, excuse me. And we have to turn on the power. The solution for the power is 3-4 flip switches 3 and 4. And then there's going to be a dog to our right that's going to try to climb that fence, but we're just going to run on out. He's going to climb the fence behind us, and by the time he climbs it, we're already going to be back on the other side. He's going to not know any wiser. There's a dog trying to climb under, or crawl under the fence here, and you're going to light him the fuck up and kill him as fast as possible. Next, you're going to want to walk over to this corner, line your gun up, your shotgun, up with these pipes and that stain on the floor, and just kind of inch your way towards the corner. A dog's going to run down, and you're going to shotgun him for a one-hit kill. Then there's going to be a dog that busts through this grate right here, and we're just going to light him the fuck up as well with the Matilda. Take him out nice, safe, and sound. Next is a choke point for the run that I'm going to be doing a bit of cheesing on that wasted a little bit of time for the sake of safety. There are 3 dogs in this parking garage, and it can be very difficult to hit them. So what I do is I try to aggro them by shooting one, just getting their attention somehow. I was trying to look for a good way to do it without leaving the safety of the door too much. Then you want to get back in this doorway. And I'm going to try to pop the door open and then pop the dogs with the shotgun for a one-hit kill. You got to be very careful about opening this door, though, because if you stand in the doorway too far when opening it, or to keep it open, the dogs can leap at the door and they will like stun Leon. Like they'll leap and he'll go ugh, and he'll fall backwards, and it actually does do a very small amount of damage, which will defeat the purpose of your no damage run. So I'm just looking for a good opportunity to take a shot here without getting clipped, because I actually lost a run to this prior, so I'm being very careful. I'm just going to try to shoot a dog whenever they're in view of this corner with the shotgun. No matter how many shells it takes, we should have plenty on us. If you were worried about missing too many shots, you could bring more shells from your box earlier on, like I did not do. But regardless, see, even from that distance that I just shot that dog, he got one hit killed because the shotgun just decimates dogs. So I'm just going to look for a good opportunity to shoot them, like I said. Play it very safe, play it very cautious, even though this takes a lot of time. And it's a little bit cheesy. You do not want to get clipped by these dogs and their random bullshit. It's very hard to crowd control them, even with the shotgun, out in the open, out there. So this is the safest method that I've found for dealing with them consistently. As lame and boring as it is. I managed to pop him just before the door closed because he was busy barking, and I wanted to make sure I actually got that first dog earlier, so I was taking a look around. The first dog that actually leaped at the door and I didn't think I shot him, I actually did shoot him and one-shot him, and he's right there. So I began to suspect that maybe I had got him, and I walked out the door, checked, and yep, sure enough. So now that we can confirm that those dogs are not going to be there later, you could kill these dogs later, but I'd recommend killing them first. We're going to come up to R.P.D. 2 here. Up the stairs and around to the right, there are more shotgun shells. And then we're going to pop into this save room. I turn on the light just because. There's 2 lockers here. One contains some handgun rounds, and the other contains a yellow gunpowder. We're going to mix the yellow gunpowder and the blue to make more shotgun shells, you guessed it. Then there's some magnum rounds on the sink here, and a fuse on this chair. We're going to pick up the magnum rounds for later when we get the magnum, and we need the fuse to get out of here. Next, we're going to store away any defense items we have, and especially the flash grenade that we just had, because we don't want to use it, and the magnum rounds. We're going to keep shotgun shells and the handgun on us, but not the handgun bullets. And honestly, you should take some extra shotgun shells with you. You should take you should have about 10 with 4 in your shotgun, so 14 in total. And we also want to take the red book. Don't forget the red book from earlier. Next, we're going to use, the reason we didn't put away the handgun is because we're going to use the handgun for those stuns that I was talking about earlier, which I displayed quite well here. You're going to stun the zombie by shooting it in the knee, then run up and shoot them directly in the face for a safe decapitation. There's a knife in the wall here, which is why we didn't need to bring a defense item with us. And right here is poor Officer Elliot, who's been eaten in half, and he's been reanimated as a zombie, so we're going to put him out of his misery by popping him with a shell as well. Alright. So we're going to run in here with the red book and pick up the statue's arm, combine the book with the arm, and then reattach it on the statue in order to get this scepter right here. And the scepter, if you examine it, has a switch on it that will give you its jewel, and we're going to need that for later. We're going to ignore those boards for now, but remember they're there, and we're going to use the crank to open this shutter, and that's the last time we're going to use the crank, so we'll be able to discard it after this. Stairs skate up here. We're going to pop in this room to the left, and there are shotgun shells sitting on this shelf. But then we're going to turn around immediately, because there's a zombie over there, and we're going to come in this little area and grab the large gear. Then we're going to pop back out and leave, because we're not coming back here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the crank, because we don't need it anymore. And then remember to open this locker and grab this flash grenade. Again, Leon lives and dies by his grenades. Once we go down this ladder, it's going to fall apart, and we're not going to be able to traverse it again. But that's fine. Making sure my inventory is all set. So we're going to walk up to this door, and the zombie should bust open, and we're going to pop the first zombie in the head. Now, he wanted to be a dick and wouldn't actually open the door the first time that I went up to it, like he normally does. But regardless, if you stand here, eventually this door is going to pop open, and you're just going to get a free decap on that first zombie. Then let the second zombie stumble out, and her leg fell off, but same difference. Get a stun or break her leg, whatever you need to do, and then pop her in the head as well. Change the water direction to the left for once we go back up to the roof. Then we're going to pop in here and get rid of our handgun, get rid of our combat knife. Or I guess I chose to keep the combat knife, get rid of the flash. Okay. Yeah, because I remember how I routed this now. Because we're going to grab the flash later. So, yeah, get rid of the flash, get rid of the handgun. And we're going to grab the club key off of the board in there. And now that we have the club key, we can set ourselves up later for the magnum. We're going to put out this helicopter, and then Mr. X is going to be a dick and start chasing us. We're going to stand here for a minute so he doesn't lose us, because if we run back to the roof too fast, he's actually going to lose us, and we don't want that. We want him behind us, not in front of us, to eliminate risk. So we're going to run back to this bench over here, and then once he's significantly out towards us, we're just going to go around him in a nice little circle, safely. You can bait punches from Mr. X to save time, like, say, in a speed run, but it is extremely risky for a no-damage run, especially one as risky as Leon, so we don't do it. We're going to grab these boards that I said to remember earlier. Grab those, because now we're heading downstairs. We're going to head downstairs. Don't worry about X being on your tail if he still is and didn't lose you. We're going to board up this window right here so that this zombie doesn't break through and give us trouble. Then we're going to head to the end of the hall. And there is a yellow gunpowder in this locker that we're going to want for later in the game. And we're going to unlock this club key door. Inside this room is the jewelry box that we need to combine the red jewel with, which will give us the stars badge. And the stars badge is going to get us the magnum later, which is why we're doing all this extra work to get it. Now, if you don't want the magnum, you can literally cut out most of what I'm doing here, and then a lot later, and save a ton of time and some minor risk, but the risk that you eliminate by having the magnum, in my opinion, is far greater and worth the extra time, since we're not actually doing a speedrun. This part's a little bit tricky because you're not going to know where X is. He might sometimes ambush you by breaking the wall down there, and he might sometimes ambush you on your way out of here, and you're going to have nowhere to run but back to that room where you got the jewelry box. The best advice I can give you is run back to the jewelry box room, which you're going to see me do because some bad RNG happened in this run. I do it from much farther away, but just run back there because he can't open that door. He can't enter that room. And you just got to kind of get a good roll where he decides to leave you alone for a minute. Now we're coming down back to the West Hall, and we're going to sprint in this room to aggro a licker in here. Because when we aggro the licker and then leave the room, the licker's going to move to a different hallway. However, Mr. X, like I was talking about bad RNG earlier, had decided to explore that hall, so when I went in, aggroed the licker, and left, he came after me. Now, I was about to mention that you kind of need X to not be on your ass during this part, unfortunately, in order to get it done safely with Leon. We need to go into the West Hall, and Leon needs to go get the lever to free these bookshelves. But unlike with Claire, Leon cannot do it safely if X is right on top of you, because Leon needs to kill a zombie or two, sometimes too, again, this is RNG based, in order to get safely out. So I was trying to come up with some kind of clever way to get X to leave me alone for long enough that I could go and do it. I tried to juke him in the library and then sneak around him, which I didn't think was going to work, and it didn't. So I decided that my best course of action was to waste a huge chunk of time, because again, this is not a speed run, to just try, and I was trying to decide what to do right here. I was just stalling, trying to think to myself, okay, where can I bring him? I ended up deciding to waste a huge chunk of time and just go all the way back to the hallway that we were just in, that we got the jewelry box from, to try to see if I could trick his AI into going somewhere else and juke him. That way I could go to that hall safely. Again, this is one of those things in this run where I'm just wasting a ton of time, but it is extremely risky to have X just following you the entire time. I would not recommend it. So I tried to see if maybe he'd go the other way right here, so I could just run past him. But he ended up following us, so I had to go all the way down to the bottom. This is just a huge time waste. I had to go all the way down to the bottom here, back to where we were. And this is why I was saying, if X at any point corners you after getting this jewelry box, all you gotta do is run back here and pray to RNGesus that he's going to decide to go some fucking place else. I recommend wearing headphones, because you can hear his footsteps better and where he is at. Definitely don't try to risk, I mean, you can bait a punch from him and then just go around him. You can do that. If you don't care about no damage, then that's fine, especially because if you get punched, okay, whatever. But you need to be very careful, because one punch will put you in danger on hardcore. And if you get hit, you can't stand up and then run around him, because he'll just grab you and throw you back or just punch you again. I was trying to walk here so that X couldn't hear me, because X can't hear you if you walk, if he's adjacent, nearby. If he's like right next to you, it doesn't matter, he'll find you. And you can run around with him being a few rooms away and he doesn't seem to track you, but I'm not really sure with his AI pathing, it's kind of weird. I determined where he was. I think he was actually walking over and below me. So I was like, alright, I have time to sprint here and go around and see if I can get back to the west hallway, which I did. So now we're going to head back again after that massive delay to the west hallway, and I'll show you what to actually do. So again, when you come to this west hallway, the first thing you want to do is sprint in like I did earlier, and then leave to aggro the licker, and then you wait a second and go back in. Then you don't have to walk in here, because the licker will be gone. Then you're going to walk over to this window, and a zombie's going to come through it, because it was unboarded. Check the hall like I just did to see if there's another zombie on the floor or walking towards you, because you might have to kill two. Sometimes RNG will have a second zombie there. Just check to make sure you're not going to get ambushed. Pop either of them in the head however many fucking times you have to pop their heads. You need to make sure those zombies are dead. Then you're going to run in here, and there's a frag on the table right there. And we're going to dump off the club key because we're done with it. There's also a lever that we need for the library. Once you grab these items, X is just going to hone in on you automatically and come looking for you, and you're just going to juke him. The reason we kill that zombie, or if there is two zombies out there, two zombies, is because they will try to bust down the door and come in there with you, blocking your escape, or they'll just fucking grab you when you leave. And it's risky to even, like, carry a knife and then let them grab you and use the knife to escape, because with X right on you, he's likely to just punch you coming out of you using the knife. So we need to decapitate whatever zombies are outside of that door, then go in and juke X. That way we can do it safely, which is also why we can't have X directly on our ass. Because we need time to shoot the zombies. Speaking of X directly on your ass, it does not matter if he's on your ass for this bookshelf part. If you set the bookshelves up earlier, like I told you to, you can use the lever on that bookshelf to release it, and then just pull 2 of those bookshelves, doesn't even need to be all 3, once to the right, and they'll be all set to run across. And even if X is right on your tail, he won't be able to catch up in time to hit you out of doing that. Next, we're going to run down this hall, and directly around this pillar to the left, there's a zombie. I ended up not getting him on first shot, but he fell over and died with the second one, even though I didn't get a decap. That right there is also, again, the reason why I like stunning zombies with the handgun in the knee and then running up to them, because if you're just even a little bit too far away, you're not going to get a decap with this shotgun until you get the upgrade for it. We grabbed the large gear after using it in that first slot. We pick it up again, and then we bring it upstairs, grab the small gear, and then put the large gear in place of the small gear. Then we're going to run back downstairs to another gear contraption and put the small gear back there. And that's going to solve this little air quotes puzzle. Next, before we leave, we're going to run down to this this back hallway behind here, and there is a large gunpowder sitting on a box at the end of it. We're going to combine this large gunpowder with the yellow we got from the locker downstairs earlier to make a ton more shotgun shells. Large gunpowders make basically double of what the regular amount would. And whenever you make ammo, it is a bit RNG. You'll get different numbers. So like with shotgun shells, you can make, I believe, 5 or 6 shotgun shells between a large gunpowder and a yellow gunpowder. We're going to grab the orange conductor box. And this is another part where you need to kind of hope X is not in front of you, and if he is, turn around and go back to that clock tower room because he can't follow you there. Now his music started playing, which usually indicates he's aggroed on you, so I thought maybe he was going to come into the library, so I waited here a second to see where he was going to be. But basically, when you come out of the clock tower, what you want to do is you want to come in here and then take this shortcut by falling through the floor to the left to get down faster. And then I was just making sure X wasn't going to be right outside this fucking door. Turns out he wasn't, so I was like, alright, I have time. And here he was coming up, but too late to catch us. We're going to head over to the east office again. So head over to the east side, like we're currently heading to. And in through here. There shouldn't be any zombies in here if this is your first time going through here again, although you can hear one breaking through the window right there. Then we're going to run through here and back over towards the save room. Make sure you have everything before you come here, though, because these 2 zombies right here will bust through these windows and block your exit out without killing them, excuse me. We're going to run into the save room fast to drop off the frag, the STARS badge, and the knife. And we're going to pull out 1 flash grenade, because we need a flash grenade whenever we solve the cube conductor puzzle in the prison, which is what we're headed to do. Now, if you did not kill the dogs earlier, this would be your time to pull out shotgun shells, the shotgun, and maybe the handgun if you need it, to kill these dogs, either by cheesing them or taking a risk out in the open. However you choose to do it, I would recommend the cheesing method. But if you didn't kill him earlier, you gotta kill him now, because you're gonna have to cross this parking garage, and there is no way to cross it without risking taking a bite. So now we're gonna come in here. I was double checking that I head popped that zombie on the ground, because you definitely want him head popped, like I mentioned earlier. And then we're going to solve this cube conductor puzzle. Leon's is a lot harder than Claire's. It has way more moves to do. Claire's only takes 7 moves, I believe, at most, and I had them all memorized. Leon's takes 13, and I don't currently have them memorized because I haven't run Leon as much. But even as Claire, I couldn't really explain what to do. So you should just copy the moves that I make here. I end up making them a lot slower because I'm actually reading from notes right now that I made on this puzzle. The concept of the puzzle is to get the 2 lines of power to the other end. So there's a red wire and a blue wire leading to 2 conductors, and then you have to connect their lines to the purple wire on the other end. Claire has a similar puzzle, but like I said, it's a lot more simple. It's easier to memorize, has less moves. The fewest moves that you can do here is 13, and that was exactly 13. The reason why we do 13 is not only to save time, but also there's an in-game achievement, like a record, for the records thing, that you can get by doing it in 13 moves. Once you get the parking garage key card from Ben, we're going to run out here because all the cells open, and we're going to flip this switch to open up this door. Then X is going to come after us. So we're going to run back here, and we're going to safely juke around him, very carefully. And this is why we brought the flash grenade. We're going to flash these, zombies that are coming around the right here. And then run by. The reason I shoot that zombie on the ground from earlier is because sometimes he will not get stunned by the flash grenade for some fucking reason, or won't get stunned for as long as the standing zombies, and he will nibble on your fucking ankle. So to eliminate the chance of any kind of RNG during the run, I just pop him with a shell while he's on the ground, because we have plenty of shotgun shells, and it eliminates any kind of risk. Next is just a walking segment with Ada for the next 5 minutes. We just have to do a ton of walking. If you run ahead of Ada here, she actually, fun fact, sprints to catch up to you, so you can speed up this part. I don't know why you wouldn't be running anyway, but it's just the point that she won't stay like walking at 2 miles an hour behind you while you're sprinting ahead. We just run up to the kendo gun shop here, and she's going to mention that the road's out, and then come over and lockpick the door. And we just basically have to wait for all of this to play out. Hopefully I can get done a no save, no damage of Leon soon, and then I'm going to start working on the B campaigns, which as far as I know are just harder campaigns with more convoluted puzzle solutions. But we're going to run into the gun shop and make sure to grab that frag grenade and the shotgun upgrade. Both of these are very important. That shotgun upgrade allows the shotgun to hold 8 rounds instead of 4, allows it to reload 2 at a time instead of 1, and gives it far more range and damage. The range particularly is why we need that upgrade, because the range allows it to hit zombies from a safe range without being in grab range and still decapitate them, so we no longer need to stun them and then run up to them.
Gee, thanks.
Also want to mention that during this segment, Leon has 2 of my favorite lines in the game, which is, "That explains the horrible things I've seen," after Ada tells him that Umbrella's making viruses that turn people into monsters. And then the classic, "Gee, thanks," when Ada tells him he can go first.
That an earthquake?
So that's the alligator. We're going to stop into this box right here, and we're going to grab the Matilda. Just make sure there's a round in it. I'm grabbing the handgun specifically and only because I don't want to waste a shotgun shell in this next segment, because there is an auto-scroller we need to complete. And at the end of it, we're going to need something with a bullet, and I don't want to use a shotgun shell, so I'm bringing the handgun to use the handgun.
No chance. You're stuck with me to do.
So we're going to drop down here, and the alligator's going to chase after us, and he is an instant kill if he catches you. So you want to dodge to the left first. You just want to hold left, then hold over to the right, and then wait for him to snap his jaws twice. He's going to snap, and then do it again. And then go back over to the left, and he's going to quickly snap again, and then you can move wherever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. I just stay in the middle. And that's how you get through this section without being IK'd, because he will instant kill you if he catches you. Then Leon's going to slide down here, and you got to use something to pop this flammable tank in order to kill it, which is why I brought the handgun.
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a bitch.
There's also a frag grenade in the water. Again, don't forget it. Now we gotta wait for Ada to move her slow ass over here and lower the ladder for us so we can continue the run.
Leon, up here.
What the hell was...
Just get up here.
Move it out of the way, Ada.
You said the virus turned people into monsters,
Not reptiles.
Fair point. I'm just impressed you made it in one piece.
So now we have to wait for an elevator ride where more talking ensues. This is a very auto-scroller type segment. Walk and talk, walk and talk. Fine on a first playthrough. When you're doing challenge runs or speed runs or pretty much anything else and you've played the game 25 times,
Like that to who?
it starts to get a little bit
Our
boring.
military? Somebody else's?
It wears on you.
They don't sell the monsters. They sell the viruses that make them. And Annette is who makes the viruses. Scary as that alligator was, Annette is far more dangerous.
So, we're gonna click on this door, and I skipped a cutscene where basically Leon gets shot. So now we're controlling Ada. We try to inspect the ladder, it's gonna give us the EMF visualizer, and then we have to fuck with power boxes and shit, because this is what Ada does in her section. So there's a power box to the right, you turn it on, and then you overload the fan and climb the ladder. This part is quite boring. It's, I would say, actually worse than the Sherry segment in Claire's, because the Sherry segment may be boring, but this is boring and you risk losing a no damage run to it. So there's another power box down to the right, and that will turn on the fan so we can overload that. Then down and to the left there's a switch, and you want to flip that so the power goes to the door. Next we're gonna shoot this zombie in the leg repeatedly with our 9 handgun bullets, and hopefully blow his leg off. Usually you will. You should. So once you blow his leg off, he can't come through this door after you later. There are handgun rounds on this barrel, and we're going to reload our handgun with that. Now there is a trophy / achievement for doing this section without using anything but the visualizer. I would not recommend doing that on hardcore, or at least not when you're doing no damage, because you're basically going to take a hit. So do it on standard or assisted, or do it on hardcore if you want to try to finish it, but just not when you're doing no damage. So there's a power box right over here after the falling zombie to the left, and then we're going to come in here on this crate, and there's more handgun rounds and a flash grenade. We're going to be using those to get out. We're going to pop this zombie in the leg until it falls off, just like the last one, to make sure we can get around him nice and easy. And then there's going to be 2 zombies crowding up on us because we wasted just enough time. And we're going to flash both of those zombies and go around them. And we should be pretty much scot-free. Usually the other zombies in this room don't get in my way. But if any of them do, it's as simple as shooting them in the leg to get stunned. Just shoot them in the knee, stun them, run past them. Next we're going to switch back to the visualizer, because we're going to need it coming up. X is going to actually try to chase after us, and we're going to have to be quick like a bunny. So we're going to run down this hall after we turn this left, and to the right, across from the panel, there's going to be a power switch you need to turn on. Then we need to flip this switch to open the door, and then examine another switch above that thing we just pulled to switch the power to the fan up ahead. Then we need to run up here and activate the fan. If you do all this fast enough, X won't catch up to you and fuck with you. You can just jump through here and you're safe. If you take too long, he's going to catch up to you and punch you in the dick. So I would not recommend dilly-dallying. Next, we need to open up... This is basically the end of the run, the end of any kind of risk of taking damage. There's one more chance to die and lose, but it's pretty auto. It's very easy. We're just going to come up here, pull this lever, stair skate back downstairs. Ada needs to go inside the incinerator to get an ID wristband, which is how Leon gains access to it without Sherry. And then we're going to have to wait for Annette to mock us a little bit.
I'm gonna burn you alive now. You'll never get your filthy hands on the G. I'm not the only one after it. You realize that?
And you won't die alone.
Essentially, she's going to try to burn us alive in this furnace, and we have a minute to get out. We have to break 3 fuse boxes. The first fuse box, you can turn on the power directly to your left and behind you. Then we flip a switch you blow up that one. Then flip a switch directly to your left to blow up the right-hand one. Then turn directly to your right. And then there's another one, and you blow up the middle one. You can just walk towards it because the door will open. Again, if you just look at what I just did, it's very simple. And it's the same every time. You just blow it open, you leave, and then that's the end of the Ada segment. You just gotta run out here and get a cutscene. Again, I almost think it's worse than Sherry, just because Sherry requires less effort, and both are just as boring, in my opinion, on replaythrough. Just another small thing that makes Leon's campaign actually harder. So, next, we're back here. We're gonna take this elevator up, and there's gonna be an item box up ahead. We're gonna want to make sure to take out a knife out of the item box just in case. I like to take a knife with me right here because we have space. We're gonna put away everything but the shotgun, the shells, and grab a knife. And we can take out the rest of our shotgun shells, in fact. Because we're gonna be pretty much primarily using the shotgun from this point as our main weapon, and mostly using it to decap zombies.
That's a pleasant smell.
So, we're going to drop down here, and we're going to take the left-hand tunnel first, because it is a dead end, and it has a box of shotgun shells in it. And we're just going to come around the side over here. Up ahead is the point where I split my recording, so I'm going to have to call it here and start part 2 up from after I pause the game coming up here. So I'm just going to start part 2 from that point, and we'll pick it up after that.